Hello guys and welcome to another PHATcast. Today, of course, we're going to be talking about the newest Nintendo Direct. I actually look forward to these every time. I always worry that there won't be enough to talk about, but Nintendo's been on a good roll recently with these Directs. It seems like they haven't really had a bad one in quite a long time. But of course, I'm joined here today with SBO and Gavin, otherwise known as Gaming98, although we don't like that name anymore for some reason. So we're going to be talking about everything in the Direct, what we're excited for, what were our low points, if there were any. But yeah, we'll start with you, Gavin. What did you think about this Direct overall, in a brief summary?
Come on, don't be shy.
I did say. I said
What?
Good.
Good. Oh, sorry, we didn't even hear it.
Yeah,
Did you hear SBO?
No, not at all.
Good. Okay, good. SBO, what about you? Maybe a bit more of a detailed summary.
I find it a solid yay.
A solid yay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Up.
I guess. Well, I thought it was pretty good as well. I did think there wasn't a lot of new stuff though. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we already knew about, or remakes. Like, there wasn't like anything. I don't think there was anything brand new actually announced. It was stuff that was either an exciting remake or, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, or updates. Maybe one or two new indies, but you have to like follow that actively to know if it's new or not.
Well, usually they're in like the sizzle reel, and you're like, you blink it, you miss it. So
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll just jump straight in with Pikmin 4 because that was what opened the Direct off. I guess we'll start with you, SBO, because obviously you're the Pikmin guy here. Although me and Gavin are very big fans of it as well. But yeah, what did you think about the new trailer?
Yeah, naturally. I mean, right off the bat, my first thought was, wow, they're actually opening with Pikmin. They actually do consider Pikmin something a bit more important than just that side game. That got me pretty, happy. I mean, naturally, the trailer showed off a lot of cool stuff, but my mind alternated between focusing on the big stuff, the big new things announced, like the new Pikmin types and mechanics, and alternating to like the small things, because I'm gonna have to soak all of this up to put on the wiki. And I did. It's already on the wiki, an advertisement for PikminWiki.com. Go there right now. The Pikmin 4 page has a lot of really detailed info on like the really coolest small things.
Pikmin Wiki? Isn't that the Wikia though?
Where's my shotgun? Ah, here it is.
SBO, you're the one who said it, not
Oh
me.
my god, Gavin's dead.
No, that's the PikminWiki.com. That's Wikipedia. You know this.
Silly Gavin.
Why didn't you just call it Wikipedia?
Because I want people to know the URL, Gavin.
They can just Google Wikipedia and find it regardless.
Actually, you should probably do that. Bumps us up in the Google search results.
Anyway,
wait, so
mushroom? You gotta revive me now, otherwise we can't continue.
Just so no one gets confused, SBO, where do they need to go if they want all their Pikmin information?
This video is sponsored by Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Okay, right, there we go then.
Click the link below for 69% off your first purchase with Wikipedia.
I have quickly got to say that, I think the game looks gorgeous. Like, I didn't think you could look much better than Pikmin 3 did, but like graphically, it definitely looks a step up.
Yeah. It looks like, it just looks good. A couple of things people have been noting are like slightly weaker, quote unquote. Like Pikmin animations seem a bit more blocky, but I think that's just kind of like the minute details that probably won't matter in the grand scheme of things.
I kind of think that might be a performance thing, actually.
Could be. I mean, the Pikmin have always run at like 2 frames per second, haven't they?
Not quite, but 30. They couldn't bump any higher than that without dying.
Yeah, I just remember in that. I think it was the original 2 games. Like, if you looked at the Pikmin close up, you could see that they would like skip some frames or what have you.
I guess.
Well, my most excited thing was the return of the dungeons. Hopefully, yeah.
I like it.
It's not quite clear if they're going to be random yet, but they're at least there.
I mean, that's one thing that is still fascinating about Pikmin 2 to this day. It's like, the different rooms and
it's procedural generated, yeah.
Yeah, just is there like a specific one where it's always the same? If I remember
the
rightly?
emergence cave is always the same.
Yeah, a couple of sublevels are like that.
Yeah, it's just fascinating from like a game design standpoint, just figuring that stuff out. So, I mean, well, can we just quickly say what our favorite Pikmin game is? Because for me, it's 2.
It's 2.
Yours is 2 as well.
It's 2, although 3 is actually very close.
Yeah,
Right,
the
okay.
same.
Well,
Okay,
I like
interesting.
Pikmin 3 for different reasons. I do think Pikmin 3 plays the best, but
For
Pikmin
sure,
2
yes.
I just think has the most like content.
I mean, one thing that I really liked Pikmin 2, like not just the dungeon, the caves and stuff, but like I preferred collecting treasure to collecting like fruit. I just find it so much more interesting. Especially, they probably won't do it in this game, but obviously in Pikmin 2, you actually had regional differences between the games for the different treasures you'd find. So it'd be cool if they did that again.
Yeah, hush your mouth, please. I don't want Nintendo to hear that.
Maybe not.
Because, like, documenting differences in regions for Wikipedia is fine and all. The problem is that like the developers are like, oh, okay, let's change this this bottle cap from this brand to this brand. Also, let's change the internal name of the object. Also, let's change its location. Let's change its weight. It's a different object. Which treasure was this originally? Who fucking knows anymore? Try documenting that on the wiki. It's insane.
What you're saying is you're lazy. You don't want more work.
I spend more time trying to organize those articles than I've spent sleeping.
I was going to say, when I said you were lazy, I was like, put down the shotgun, please.
Put that thing down.
When's it coming out? Is it July?
Yes.
Yep, July.
So it's going to be the summer game.
Yeah, very much.
I'm very much looking forward to Pikmin 4.
Absolutely.
There seems to be like, I mean, one thing I'm disappointed about is the fact that you don't get to play as Olimar. But I really like Olimar. He's like my main guy. But I did really like the cast of Pikmin 3. So I hope like they interact with each other like they did. Yeah, to the same level that they did in 3, like these new characters.
That will most likely be the case.
Yeah.
They do seem to have some kind of chemistry.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder who they are, though. They don't seem to be Hokatations or from Kopai. They must be from somewhere completely different.
Well, their ears are pointy, so maybe Hokotate.
Well, what is their excuse for coming to this planet?
That's yet to be seen, I suppose, isn't it?
It might have something to do with the castaways.
Yeah.
What do we think about the new dog, the cute dog?
Ochi.
Yeah.
He's goofy. Obviously, my first thought, and Gavin's too, I think, was, oh look, it's Poochie from Yoshi's Island.
I thought that as well. I thought it was Poochie.
Oh, speaking of, I gotta add a redirect to the wiki. If somebody searches for Poochie, it just takes them straight to Ochi's article.
That's funny.
It makes me wonder though, who exactly is Ochi? Is he actually part of the local wildlife, or did he like come to this planet with the leaders?
Well, Shepard, one of the characters, seems to know a lot about Ochi, so it might be from the planet. I mean, from the planet they come from, not from PNF 404.
I see.
I really like the fact that one of the locations, you saw like the house in the background, and like the spade from a sandpit and that, because I don't think any of the other games have actually been that close to a human settlement, have they?
No, they've always been a bit coy about it, but here, oh my god.
Yeah, it's on full display.
That house is surprisingly intact for a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Is it the same planet that they're exploring?
It has to be, because it's already been confirmed that PNF44 is Earth.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Like, if you actually look at Pikmin 3's world map, there's actually like it actually has like a SPO explain. I don't know how to put this into words.
A world map, you say?
The world map of Pikmin 3 is actually like accurate to what Earth will look like in like 200 million years or something.
Pangea Ultimate, yeah.
What did they do? Just type in like Earth in 200 million years, then got an AI generated picture, and they were like, "Yeah, that's the map."
No, that model's been around for like what 100 years maybe. So
okay.
Not quite that advanced.
Okay, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Like Gavin said though, yeah, that's pretty intact. Like, they seem to be they've got a housekeeper, definitely. Housekeeper's still around.
It's probably me.
It's probably you.
Yeah, for context, I work in a hotel now.
Okay, well, let's move on to the big one for me.
Hey! I did get to say my piece on Pikmin 4. I actually
did you not?
Some things I wanted to point out. Yeah.
Oh, okay, go on then.
So I'm actually wondering. This game has it looks like you actually get to play at night for once, which makes me wonder if the
the night mode.
It makes me wonder if the usual gameplay mode for Pikmin is gone. Like, you no longer just spend like 15 minutes or so on the surface, and then you have to leave before it turns dark. I wonder if they're actually getting rid of that now.
Well, most of the time fans get the idea of night mode. They usually implement it, quote unquote, as if it's like you can optionally go to night mode, spend a couple of minutes there to do some work you couldn't do during the day, but like you're usually tired in the next day, so you lose some minutes, or it's just like extra dangerous. So it might not just be continuously play morning and night. There might be some restrictions to how you can play during the night.
I was going to say
it's going to be like hard mode, isn't it?
Probably.
Because it was always like told to you that nighttime is dangerous, but the player's like, no, I can take that. How bad can it be? And then Pikmin 4 answers that question, and you're like, oh crap, this is actually really scary.
It answers that question with a fucking Vine Boom meme.
It's got to literally like almost have you play the cutscene at the end of the other games. You know, where like the Pikmin will get like eaten, and there's like a million monsters popping out. You need to. It either needs to be really hard, so it actually does deter you from doing it, but there is a reward if you do it. Or I reckon it could be like limited to certain like areas or story segments maybe. So it's like, oh no, we need to go out to like save them, or I don't know, but some sort of story segment instead of it being available all the time. But I would prefer it to be available all the time because I think that'd be more interesting.
Yeah, if you see the footage, there are some like star bits during the night that we don't see during the day. So maybe some sort of currency.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So maybe there is like a incentive to play at nighttime, one that doesn't exist during the day.
You have to weigh up your options though, because obviously that's a big risk to lose a lot of Pikmin, isn't it? So
probably, yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys think about? I know you spoke about it briefly, SBO, but what do you think about the Ice Pikmin? Because I think that's the only variant that's been confirmed this time around, isn't it?
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was pretty neat. I mean, it didn't overstep its boundaries, being like, whoa, we're the hip new cool kids, and the other Pikmin types don't matter, which is a bit like what Purple Pikmin and White Pikmin did in 2, and Rock Pikmin and Wing Pikmin did in 3. They look a bit more subdued, but they still have their own little niche that's interesting and opens up a few possibilities. Freezing the water and whatnot, bringing back the quote-unquote ultra bitter spray. They look fun. They look logical, they look fun, they look distinct, they don't look crazy. I approve.
Do we know if the Rock and Wing Pikmin are coming back? Because I know the white and purple Pikmin are on the artwork, but I don't think the Rock and Winged ones are they?
They are, but you have to see the full artwork they rendered.
Oh, okay, so they will be in the game.
Visible for the box art. Most likely, yeah.
What was that, Gavin?
Everyone is here, basically.
Yeah.
All the
I mean, I hope you get Bowman.
Oh yeah, Bowman.
We need Bowman.
I want Bowman back because they are the MVPs in Dungeons.
Of course. Well, we have caves, so fingers crossed.
That's what I mean about 2, though, is that like you had all these cool things that as much as I did like 3, it didn't they didn't put everything in 3 that you had in 2. So I'm hoping this one's going to be like it's
exploratory.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's like I almost like consider Pikmin 2 almost its own like sort of game because 3 feels like a natural successor to 1, and maybe 4 was going to feel like a natural successor to 2. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Are you done, Gavin? Is that everything you need to say?
Wow. Well, no, it's not. But there's actually something else I wanted to talk about briefly.
Go ahead.
They really put a lot of emphasis on this this new overworld area. This big park area. It looks like it's going to be like a really big area to explore, and it makes me wonder: is this going to be the only overworld location in the game? Is it going to be like this semi-open world area that you can explore at your own leisure? And find treasures and whatnot. Like that actually might justify the nighttime mode even more. I think.
Oh, that could be it. Maybe the night mode is only in the overworld and not in like the the area, the segmented areas you'd go to for the story progression.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd like that. It'd be more like sandboxy, really, wouldn't it? Instead of like
sandbox, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I prefer that. Yeah, right, okay. Well, let's move on to the next thing. The Xenoblade 3 DLC. Oh boy.
Let's begin to talk about this for the next 20 minutes.
Let's begin the experiment.
Let's oh my god, that's a very good segue, that SBO.
This is a doozy.
I mean, let's talk about the first thing quickly. The new hero, She reminds me, right? Have you seen A Bug's Life?
Yes.
Right, you know the butterfly from... is it the butterfly or is it the moth from
It was
the
the
troop?
butterfly, the one that married the praying mantis. Yeah.
That's the one, yeah. She sort of reminds me of that.
I see. I guess I can see it, yeah.
Can you see it? Just like the way her posture is, like those little wing things she has, the thing, the outfit she's wearing. I don't know. It just looks really mothy. Mothy, yeah. And they've also added a roguelite mode as well, which is pretty cool. I said to you, SPO, that'd be cool if it was if they somehow incorporated co-op to that, because that'd be a fun little multiplayer thing. That'd be interesting, because the challenge mode right now is it's all right, but it's not it's just battles. You know what I mean? It's like no different to what the main game is. So if there's some roguelike elements, that'd be kind of sort of push the addiction of actually playing it.
Yeah.
And you get cool outfits as rewards as well. Throwbacks to the other Xenoblade characters, because I'm pretty sure the free cast were wearing the Agnians were wearing outfits from 2, and then the Kavesi were wearing outfits from 1, which is cool.
Yeah.
I know what Gavin's waiting for. Gavin's waiting to pounce on the Volume 4 teaser, and that's. I mean, that is the most. For me, that was the most exciting thing about the Direct.
Before we get into that, as somebody who's not quite following the DLC up that close, let me see if I get this straight. Wave 3 is just the new hero and challenge mode.
The new costumes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah.
Okay. So Volume 2 is just being the one. That's the one with the blade with the long neck. The really freaky one. I think they also added some other things as well, but I'm not too sure what it was. Volume 3 is... What was that, Gavin?
I think it was Volume 2 that added the swimwear.
That's it, swimwear, yeah. And then Volume 3 is adding this new hero and that roguelite mode and some of the new costumes and that. And then Volume 4 is the big... I hope it's big. The big new story expansion, I guess, which is... hopefully going to be treated similar to how Torna was treated with 2. Hopefully it gets its own physical release and you can download the rest of the expansion pass through that. But the teaser we did get was absolutely fucking massive, and we've 20
seconds long.
We've talked about Xenoblade 3 quite a bit. We did a whole podcast on it, and my takeaway from the game, and I think sort of with you as well, SPO, was that one of our big issues with the game was the fact that they didn't really touch on anything. They didn't explain everything, and they didn't touch on stuff that happened between the events of 1 and 2 and 3. And this looks like it's going to fill in those gaps. And you guys, because I came late to the podcast, the Nintendo Direct, so you guys actually filled me in on what was going on. And I was just like, what? Grown Up Rex and Alvis? What? And then I had to go back and watch it, and I was like, oh my god, shit.
Yeah.
So... yeah,
I was waiting for you to come in, because as soon as he came in, I was just like, Ben, Shulk, Rex, they're together, and Alvis is there.
It's funny because I come onto the Direct, and I think at the time it was showing. I think it was showing the new Splatoon DLC, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I was watching the Splatoon DLC, and I thought, oh, I don't look like anything exciting's happened yet. And then I come in, and Gavin's like, Ben, Alvis, Rex with a beard. So, Gavin, kick us off. What do you think this DLC is going to be? I mean, we sort of got theories of what it's about, but what's your theory?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory. Is Alvis really evil all along? Well, no, in all seriousness, it looks like this DLC story is actually going to focus on the founders of the new city, because Shulk is there, Rex is there, and we know they were mentors of 2 of the founders. They're even wearing the exact same clothing.
They both look older.
So it actually does look like this is going to... So it actually looks like this DLC is mainly going to be taking place in Ionios before the actual events of Xenoblade 3. There's also a new character who looks a lot like Noah, but
quickly, I want to. A lot of people that I've seen have actually said that he looks a lot like Faye, who's the protagonist of Xenogears.
It's the ponytail, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Well, some of the theories I've heard is that it's actually Noah's child, or even his grandchild, the original Noah, the one who became N. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Which, that makes some sense.
Oh yeah, this is I will quickly say, this is massive spoilers for Xenoblade 3, and to be fair, this DLC pack is massive spoilers for Xenoblade 1 and 2. So go play all 3 of them, 300 hours of worth of game, and then come back to the podcast. So anyway, carry on.
Basically, we have no choice but to spoil all the Xenoblade games at this point, just to discuss
Yeah.
this DLC story. So, yeah, it looks like it does take place in Ionius. You do see the Bionis leg, but you also see the hand of Morordain, which you see in
Oh.
Xenoblade 3. Yeah, you see that giant hand in Erithia, like outside Erithia Sea? That's Morordain's hand, supposedly. And that is there when you see the Bionis leg in the teaser, so this is Ionios.
Apparently, it is that area. Like it has been. I think it's either been data mined or it's been like. It's like part of the map we haven't been able to get to, and people have wondered what that is. So that obviously that's got to be this area. Because I said to you guys, I went, wait, is this just the Bionis leg? Because you get to see Ragwell Bridge, don't you? Ragwell Bridge.
It absolutely is by the way, because that bridge really stood out to me, and also the platform rising out of the river, out of the pool of water.
It doesn't look exactly the same though. It does look somewhat different. Do you know what I mean?
It looks like it was affected by annihilation event somewhat.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's a bit like if you go around like the fallen arm. Sorry, yeah, like the parts of it are exactly the same from one, but then that its surroundings are different, and that's kind of what that area reminds me of. It's like it is very similar, and like there are landmarks from one that are untouched, but then like some land around it looks different. So yeah, it's going to be crazy, and I just it's kind of crazy really because I think fucking hell, this has got to be like a big DLC, because they've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, judging from the teaser trailer, it's still quite long way from finishing. They've recorded the voice lines, but they haven't done much else at this point.
I think it'll come out around September. If I was guessing,
I'm thinking so too. Yeah, this could be big. I just Alvis though. Alvis being there, like, what's his deal? Like, why is he here? If this does
barely show his face.
If this does take place in Ionios, why is he there? Like, he somehow survived the two worlds colliding, so he's part of the Endless now, probably. All right, game theory time. So,
oh shit,
is Alvis really evil? Because he seems to be an antagonist in this DLC. Like, the fact that Rex calls him a heartless machine, like Rex, the guy who loves everyone, is calling Alvis a heartless machine. He's clearly very angry with whatever Alvis has done or is doing, and so shocked. So, what's the deal with that?
Do you because I first of all I want to say that this must take place. I don't even know if this is a prequel or a sequel yet. It's most likely going to be a prequel because of the the founder aspect of it.
Yeah.
But obviously we have no idea who that guy is who kind of looks a bit like Noah. Like he could be a descendant or he could be one of Noah's ancestors. Who knows? But Rex looks older than he does in the picture at the end of Xenoblade 3. Like in the picture, he doesn't have a beard or anything. And some people have pointed out as well. I haven't really got a good look at this myself, so I can't really confirm. But some people have pointed out that the Paramithra swords don't actually have core crystals in, so they could be replicas, kind of like how Shulk's Ronaldo is a replica now.
Yeah. I have actually got the image here, and the swords don't have those core crystals, which makes me think they're not replicas; they are the actual swords. Something must have happened to Paramithra.
That's what I'm thinking,
and it might be connected to Alvis. This is what happens when you fuck Alvis's sister. He will get you back for that.
Well, I think we said in the podcast in the Xenoblade 3 podcast, but I'm pretty sure I said if do you guys remember? I think I said about the picture. Paramithra don't actually have core crystals in the picture, so
because they fell off.
That's what I mean. Are they human now? Is that so?
They probably are. They probably are because, because they no longer have their core crystals. So that basically made them mortal.
Yeah. So this is the thing, because they've got so much to cover about the story that leads into 3 with the founders and what have you, but they've also got to cover like what's happened to the other party members because. Melia and Nia, I don't know if they're going to show up in this DLC, but obviously they're a big part of the story in 3, so there's going to be a lot going on.
I personally don't think Nia and Melia will really play much of a part because at this point in the timeline, they're sealed away, aren't they? Melia is sealed away in Origin, and Nia is in deep sleep in the Cloud Keep. So how would they come into this story unless
it happened before that?
Probably, but go again. These are the founders of the new city, because the original city was destroyed by N. So this is more recent.
This is what I mean. Like, the history of Ionios is actually like we don't really know much about it. Do you know what I mean? Like we know tidbits, but we don't know like the full history. Like we know the full history of Bionis Mechonis. We know the full history of Alrest as well. Don't really know too much about Ionios, so that's what I mean. They've got a lot to explain, a lot to go over. I'm really excited, because this is what I wanted. I really hope it leads into Xenoblade 3 in like a pretty seamless way. Just so like, and I think me and you SPO said this. Like, it's a shame that they've had to have this DLC to like even fill in the gaps at all.
It might be justifiable though, because they could be planning something big, and it warranted its own separate storyline.
Oh no, I get that. It's mainly about like they didn't even tease this in 3, apart from like some statues of the founders. But like, there's no story tease for this. Like bloody hell, Alvis in on a statue. He's not even mentioned in 3 or even thought about.
There is still the mysterious 7th founder who chose to go like uncredited. Like, who's that?
Oh, true. Yeah, true. Yeah. I don't know. Like, that's another thing I was going to say is with you saying Rex calling him a heartless machine. I don't actually think that's Rex speaking. I think that's just another line layered over the footage, to be like a bit dramatic for the trailer. It just sounds
voice.
Yeah, that's it. The voice doesn't quite match how Rex sounded before.
Well, of course not, because he's older. Like,
what I mean is like the line literally before he says you're a heartless machine sounds different than when he says he's a heartless machine. Like it sounds like two different voices.
Yeah. Well, he could still be referring to Alvis, because he's right in a way. Alvis is a machine.
Whoever's saying that is referring to Alvis, but who is saying that, we just don't know.
I don't know, but I really want to know where this is going, because what's Alvis doing? Is he actually the bad guy now, and why?
I think I touched on it a bit, but my take is that Alvis is not a bad guy because he was never a bad guy. He's always been an algorithm, and even in the first game, he never sided with either Zanza or Shulk. He was just there doing his part.
Yeah, he's a true neutral. He's just doing, what's in his programming, you could say.
Exactly. So in this situation, I think Gavin pointed it out, he must be the one responsible for even the worlds merging. Probably because, something to do with the experiment. He's such a core component of it, and the worlds have been said to want to be together for a long time. So he must be the central of this, Yeah,
I do stand by that theory. I do legit think Alvis is the one responsible for setting the two worlds on a collision course in the first place, because, it's in his programming. Because let's remember who Alvis is. He is an Aegis. He is part of the Trinity processor. He just takes in information. You could say, in a way, he's basically fallen down the same path as Malos in a way.
This is the thing.
He thinks what he's doing is right.
I think I agree with what you guys say there about Alvis. Like, he isn't he just sort of he will go whichever way, like keeping the world safe will go. Do you know what I mean? Like with Zanza, obviously he died he's still connected to the other world in a way, because he knew that he says to Shulk, this world's time is ending, and he knew it because the architect died in Zanza was dying, so then the architect died in Xenoblade 2, and it was all starting to crumble. So he needed almost like a new centerpiece of what this world needed to exist around, and that ended up being Shulk. But when things start going wrong again, he's not going to side with Shulk because he's his mate. He's not his mate. He's he's going to do whatever it takes to keep this world safe and stable. Or he could have just got corrupted. I don't know. Like, he has no lines in the teaser, so we don't actually know what's going on with him. But behind him, he has I think I said he almost has Zanza's wings when Zanza comes out of Shulk. And grows his wings and starts flying and shit. And even in his final boss form, he's still got those wings. So,
and he has Monado as well.
And he has Zanza's Monado too. Yeah,
which basically means Alvis has likely taken Zanza's place as a god. he has become the new god of Shulk's world.
Well, isn't it? Because Shulk wished for a world without gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alvis basically turned into a god because he got hold of the Monado.
Well, Alvis is the one who makes the rules, really, isn't he? So
yeah, and
maybe if Shulk didn't throw the fucking Monado into a river where it could easily be fished out by Alvis.
well, no, I don't know what happened to Monado. Well, it became there's Sansa's Monado, there's Maynard's Monado, and there's Shulk's Monado, or the true Monado. They all came together to form a new world, a world without God. So that's where the Monado went. But Alvis got hold of it, and now he's God. There's another thing actually I wanted to point out. When you see Alvis, you can actually see a dimensional rift behind him. It's the same dimensional rift that the Fog King came out of in Future Connected.
And this is what I said to you, Gavin. I did say I thought, because at a point I always thought, because I remember Future Connected come out and Takahashi said that this is going to be important to the future of Xenoblade, and I thought, when is anything in this going to become apparent? And I just started to believe that, what he means is, it's just Melia's story and like how she gets coronated, and that's important to the future because she's queen in Xenoblade 3. That's what he means. But then I forgot about the Fog King and the dimensional rifts because they're never really explained.
Yeah.
I do believe that first dimensional rift was what kick-started the whole Origin project, because that's when they finally understood that there was another world that was going to collide with theirs. And also Rex and his friends knew about it all along because Klaus told them.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. This is it, because like Shulk and his mates don't know they don't know about the other world, do they really? Like as far as they know, the old world is gone, and like this is the new world now, because that's what Alvis told them. And
it's actually sorry, carry on.
Sorry, no, carry on.
No, there's actually one other thing I wanted to point out. So, in regards to Alvis, you remember in Xenoblade 2 how Klaus specified that Alvis, who he calls Ontos, vanished into another dimension? That makes me think that it wasn't actually part of the conduit being activated. Like Alvis teleported himself to the world of Bionis and Mechonis on his own terms. Like he did that himself through choice. And why did he do that?
Yeah.
Because he had a mission to kill Zanza. To get Zanza killed so that he could bring the two worlds together again as was meant to be. Like that's why he
almost
went
like a failsafe.
Yeah.
For instance,
because again, since he's part of the Trinity processor, as far as he's concerned, the world was never meant to be split in two. So he wants to bring them back together again after the experiment did that.
It's also exciting.
It is. To just think that Alvis is probably the biggest villain in the series. Like, let's be real here. Alvis is probably the most powerful character in the Xenoblade franchise.
Could well be.
More powerful than Zanza. More powerful than
Klaus. Definitely.
He's probably even more powerful than Malos. Because
this is carry on, Gavin. I'm going to say something about it.
Because he essentially had a big part in the creation of Bionis and Mechonis, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now he has Monado. And now he's a god. And Aegis is a god. He is pretty much the most powerful character in the entire Xenoblade franchise.
This is something that I wanted to talk about actually, because I think I say it to you guys, but I mean Alvis or Ontos just seems like another level above Numa and Logos, which is Paramithra and Malos. Yeah, he seems like a level above the other two Aegis in terms of like what he can do.
He's the top dog,
and I'm wondering how he's able to do that. I'm wondering why.
Well, it's probably because again it ties to his connection to Bionis and Mechonis' creation.
Well, this is it, because it almost makes you think, because it's like, he's really powerful in the Bionis and Mechonis world because he's a centerpiece of creating that world. But in the actual, in the other dimension where he was originally supposed to be, is he still that powerful there, or is he the same as the other two? So I really don't know, and this is something that's going to be really interesting to learn because Rex and Shulk are going to come together at some point. And this is the thing. I hope that in the DLC, I hope that we get to play as like older Shulk and older Rex together in one party.
Yes, please. I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Probably have the other founders in the party as well, because there's 6 founders. And in Xenoblade 3, how many regular party members were there? 6.
7. Oh no, there's 7.
Regular regular, excluding heroes.
Oh, excluding the hero, yeah. But this is it. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. So that could be the party for the DLC.
Yeah, it's like how in Torna, the Golden Country, you still could only have up to 3 party members
Yeah,
at a
I
time.
mean they were set, weren't they? So yeah, very interesting. I mean, let's just shift towards the last bit where the Faye or whoever this bloke is. I've talked about it with you guys, but the Ouroboros comes out of him. He has like an Ouroboros form that it's like ghostly comes out of him. I mean, he must be part of the first Ouroboros, or it could be an Anoa's descendant. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Plenty to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it changes your mind on Xenoblade 3 as a whole, Ben.
I think it will. I think as long as it fills in most of the gaps, I think I'll be satisfied. This is what I wanted from Xenoblade 3. So
yeah.
And then when you are satisfied, I'll be like, I told you so.
I'll still go. Well, it still needed DLC to do it, but at least we got it, so I can't really complain too much.
It needed DLC because it was too grand. It was too big. It's of a thing. And besides, and like I keep saying, Xenoblade 3, the base game, it focused on its own self-contained story, and that was always going to be the priority. But they knew the fans wouldn't be too happy, so that's why they made the DLC the way it is.
Well, this is what I've said before. Like, I disagree with the way they went about it, because I think that Xenoblade 3's story, like its standalone story, got weaker after Chapter 5. So I think that's when they should have linked it into the grander plot anyway. And then if they needed to expand on anything, do the DLC as a bonus, kind of like how Torna was done as a bonus for Xenoblade 2. So I don't think there's really any excuse not to give us any teasers at all in the base game. But let's carry on.
Yeah.
From Xenoblade 3. I'm actually a bit lost now because after this there was a bit of, I'm pretty sure this is where there was a bit of a down period in the Direct. Like there wasn't really too much going on, was there? There was like a fashion game that went on forever. This was a bit of a lull, and then we picked back up again. When we started looking at some of the role playing games like Octopath Traveler, the second game, which is coming out later this month, looks absolutely incredible. I can't wait to get that. And then I believe we also got, was this when we got the announcement for Advance Wars as well coming out? Was it April 21st it's coming? Yeah. Finally, the war's over.
Yeah. Nintendo's going to make sure of it. Yeah. They have the deadline to April. If they don't, well, Nintendo will take care of it.
Nintendo, win the war. Bring our energy prices down. Please.
Yeah. Now, let's not forget the most important role-playing game in that category. Katamari. We love Katamari Re-Rolled.
Oh, of course, yeah. Was that? Yeah.
The deepest story ever in an RPG.
Well, let's quickly talk about that because you popped off for SBO, and I was really excited for it too because we both like Katamari. So
yeah,
the happiest I've ever heard SBO in a Nintendo Direct. Like happier than Pikmin 4's announcement.
It was just so surprising.
Pikmin 4 blindsided me. Yeah, it was surprising, but if you consider that Pikmin 4 put me in a state of shock, whereas the best that Katamari could do was just make me happy. Just make me happy.
I mean, there were so many things in this Direct, though, where it came, like, it was just, here's a fun little announcement, click, and then it just showed up, whereas, like, Pikmin 4 actually originally got, like, a full reveal, but here it was like, here's another Katamari game. Here's ALVIS and Xenoblade 3. It's like, what?
Slow the fuck down.
Oh.
Yeah. And they did the same for the Metroid Prime remaster as well. It was just like, it's coming. Here it is.
It's not just coming, but it's here right now. Go to your eShops right the fuck now. Please, Nintendo.
I can't believe it got shadow dropped.
Yeah.
That's the first time they've done that, I'm pretty sure. Like, for a game that major anyway. And then have a physical version later. I was like, oh shit. It's actually kind of tempting to go play it right now. I mean, it looks incredible though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
What does?
A Metro Prime Remastered.
Oh yeah, it does. It is. Oh, it's beautiful. Like people complaining that the Switch is underpowered, but no. Have you actually seen Metroid Prime 8 Remastered? It looks drop dead gorgeous. It's probably one of the best looking games I've ever seen on the Switch.
It's kind of surprising how like Zelda Skyward Sword HD got a very minuscule upgrade compared to this.
That's literally just basically an upscale. It's not an actual like overhaul of the graphics.
And it's
But
full
Metroid
price
Prime
too.
Yeah, Metroid. That's another thing that surprises me. Metroid Prime Remastered is actually in a budget title.
I think the reason they've done that is because they've released the trilogy before. Do you know what I mean? They released the trilogy on Wii, and then they did it again on Wii U. So maybe they thought that, I mean, to be honest, Nintendo it wouldn't put it past for Nintendo to full price this game, but they probably did think, we've released the trilogy so many times. If we only release one game, we might need to like knock a couple quid off it.
Yeah.
I actually think the main reason they're like selling it at a discount is because they plan to remaster the other Metroid Prime games in the future.
Oh, I'd love that.
Speaking of which, though, from what I've heard, the Metroid Prime Remaster was actually ready to be released for ages now, but for some reason Nintendo held off on it for a while.
Yeah, we learned that like just a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, apparently it was like rated and like it was basically like finished like 18 months ago, but they just held off on it for whatever reason.
That's probably why the rumor came out ages ago, and it just kept coming. Like it would disappear, then come back up, wouldn't it? Like all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
what we do know is that this wasn't mainly developed by Retro Studios. It was actually mostly handled by a company called Iron Galaxy, who have actually done stuff for the Switch before. They actually
really?
They ported Skyrim to the Switch, and they also ported Diablo 3 and Overwatch to the Switch as well. So they really have like
expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think that those are the biggest reveals in the direct, apart from obviously the big Zelda trailer at the end. I do quickly want to say that I think Raincode's looking great. I'm still really looking forward to that game. That's coming around June, I think. The Battle Network Legacy Collection, I'm excited to pick up. Going to have to import it because for some reason not releasing it physically in Europe, for fuck's sake. But yeah, let's talk about Zelda and wrap up here because that was probably the meatiest trailer we've got for the game so far. But it still didn't really tell us anything.
You don't want to talk about the Splatoon DLC at all? Is there nothing to talk about there?
It was. I mean, what did you guys think? Because it was kind of like, you had Inkopolis, which is like a cool return, but it's kind of like a reskin of the hub. And then you've got like obviously the expansion coming later. But I mean, I've kind of fallen off Splatoon 3, so it's probably something I don't know.
Well, the only reason I've fallen off with Splatoon 3 is because the game bans you if you disconnect, even if it's.
Oh yeah, you've had some bad ones, haven't you?
It actually pissed me right off because I never had that with Splatoon 2. I don't know what Splatoon 3's deal is, but I just think it is absolute bullshit because it just doesn't care. I got banned twice for seemingly no reason, and yeah, it's only for a couple of minutes, but no, I am tired.
That shouldn't be happening.
I am tired of this guilty until
I've had it.
Yeah, I've had it with this guilty until proven innocent mentality that Nintendo has with their online games. I'm sick of it. Their servers were shitty from day one. They'll be shitty forever. So I'm just gonna assume it's never my fault if a disconnect happens, unless I actually see my internet drop out.
And on that note, Splatoon 3.
Wait,
I'm
Team White
not sure
Chocolate.
what I'm thinking
Yeah, Team White Chocolate.
Ugh.
What? What?
The fuck?
What?
That's so
not real chocolate.
What? You never tried Milky Bar?
Yeah, that's milk chocolate.
I have one bite. I have one bite. Go, that's all right. Have a second bite and go, ugh.
What are you talking about? I love Milky Bar. It's just so nice and creamy in my mouth. Don't take that out of context. No.
Yes, Gavin, we know you like creamy white stuff in your mouth.
SBO, stop.
Okay, right.
We should have. hang on. We should have a PHATcast spin-off. That's just us discussing the Splatfest choices.
I could talk all day about why milk chocolate is shits all over white chocolate.
I do like milk chocolate. I do, and I probably would have picked that. But for me, white chocolate just feels more special because I don't have it as often, and it's just not as frequent as milk chocolate.
Can we all agree that dark chocolate is shit?
Yes,
no,
I actually don't like dark chocolate.
For God's sake, SBO.
That's because you're not an adult.
Look, here's the thing. Dark chocolate tastes too strong for me.
You just call me a rat.
A brat.
Wow.
I thought you said you rat.
It could be as well.
I just don't like dark chocolate, SBO.
Garbage taste.
I actually don't like dark chocolate. For me, it tastes too strong, and the aftertaste is too like overwhelming.
You just have
Okay,
to
so
eat
here's a
not
small.
strong dark
Here's a.
chocolate.
I can't. It always seems to be strong tasting, no matter which
Ooh.
one I get. Like here's an example. So okay, so at the hotel I work at, guests usually leave like food behind, and we just help ourselves to it. There was like this luxury chocolate bar. It was dark chocolate, and it was raspberry flavored. I actually tried it out of curiosity after work, like on the way home, and I couldn't even taste the raspberry. All I could taste was just this awful dark chocolate taste. It was horrible. I threw that thing right in the bin. I couldn't even taste the raspberry. I hated it.
Yeah, so what we've established is white chocolate and dark chocolate are both shit. Milk chocolate is great. Okay, anyway, Zelda time.
Racist.
Zelda time. What did you guys think of this last trailer? Because for me, I've said before, but I'm more excited for this game than I was for Breath of the Wild. I think this has got a lot more going on.
We still don't know anything about what the game is about. We still don't know about what's going on with Link's arm. We still don't know if that's Ganondorf or whoever. But no, actually, I actually think I might know who that character is. I actually don't think it's Ganondorf. I actually think that's Demise because he's actually wearing like the same garb that Demise does in Skyward Sword.
Yeah, might be.
Yeah,
his face looks more like Demise too.
I legit think it's Demise, not Ganondorf.
Huh.
Like
that would be
this is like coming full circle because
exactly.
Because Skyward Sword had Demise as its main villain besides Girahim. And then Tears of the Kingdom is actually chronologically the very last game in the series right now because Breath of the Wild actually takes place at the very end of the timeline because like all three timelines like come together into Breath of the Wild, and since Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, there you go. So so basically the timeline begins with Demise and it ends with Demise.
I do hope that it isn't Ganondorf. I've said to you guys, I love Ganondorf as a villain, but I really like the stranger Zelda villains like Vati.
Vati, bring back Vati.
That's what I mean. I think we
bring back Vati.
We could just do a Zelda game that isn't Ganondorf versus Link. Like it doesn't always have to be that. It can be something different.
That actually did remind me, though. We should, at least before we finish, briefly talk about how they're adding Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games to the Switch Online.
Yes, we should.
Done it, but we'll talk about that when we're done with Tears of the Kingdom, right? Yeah.
Yeah, carry on, Espia. What did you think? What did you think to all the new stuff in Tears of the Kingdom? Like,
I guess that's
some people have called it nuts and bolts, haven't they?
What's that?
Some people have called it Zelda nuts and bolts
because of the building aspect.
Yeah,
it didn't click to me right away that you'd be able to build machines. I thought, there are just these 3 prefabs and you just use them, whatever. Yeah. But it does look like actual construction. You see Link grabbing a wheel, and you don't see it plop it in, but it's pretty obviously will do that. Some people are saying that mechanic might be one of the largest focus, like you can make really complex machines, like that medieval game where you make weird machines and levers and wheels, and they try to take down like walls.
Like you're actually making mechanisms this time.
Yeah, boy, I'm not sure if it's going to be that deep. What's that, Gavin?
Oh boy, I can't wait to break the physics system even more.
Yeah, they're really bold. I mean, think about it. The flying machine originated because you could put 2 minecarts together and grab the bottom one. That it came about because of a broken glitch, and they're thinking, all right, you boys want to glitch so hard? Here, you have a fucking game-making engine. Make your own fucking little machines.
I mean, that is the beauty. That's the beauty of Breath of the Wild, isn't it? So it's going to be that even better in this game.
Yeah, and the dungeons might make good use of that too. Here are some limited pieces. This one propels like the rest of the mechanism up. This rotates. Just figure it out. Figure out some machinery that can get you to where you need to go. Might be interesting.
I mean, the gameplay Breath of the Wild is definitely like what carries it for me. Because I mean, the story's fine, but that's always what since I've experienced like other stories in video games. Zelda stories for me are like they're just fine. They're okay. They do the job, but they're never like. It's usually like how they're told that's brilliant. But like the actual story it's just like it's okay.
Yeah, so, that is a good point.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
In the Zelda podcast.
Yeah.
I should have done really. Yeah, I should have put that one.
Well, I changed the past.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Game Boy Advance games. How are we feeling about it? I'm so glad Game Boy Advance is here. I'll just have to wait to see if there's anything I actually want to play on it yet.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like Nintendo is trying to make like the whole online subscription more attractive to people. They're trying to make it like more worth its value, especially the expansion pack by adding Game Boy Advance games exclusively to that. And it's fine, but are people asking for that? People are asking for GameCube, and we still don't have GameCube. I just don't think Nintendo is not gonna do it. That's why we're just gonna see like remasters instead, like we did with Metroid Prime.
I'm fine with that.
Because, well, you gotta remember from Nintendo's perspective, the GameCube was a failure. Everybody like took the mickey out of it back in the day because it was seen as kiddie at a time when everything needed to be gritty and edgy, and it was just seen as like a simple kids thing, a simple child's play thing. And Nintendo never forgets its past failures.
I don't know if I agree with that because I think the N64 was not that far off being a failure as well.
It was not a failure. Not really. It certainly did better than the Saturn, that's for sure. Well,
no, it did, but I mean, compared, it didn't even compete with the PS1.
Yes, but compared to the GameCube, the N64 was actually still a very important console for this time. Like, it was actually a big leap forward in video game technology, and Nintendo was at the forefront of that. So, in their eyes, the Nintendo 64 is still very important to their like foundation, to their history. So
yeah, the Virtual Boy was a failure, and they still bring that up every now and then.
Jokingly.
Yeah, I don't think that's the reason why they aren't putting GameCube on. I think genuinely, the reason is that they've had the Wii infrastructure on the Wii U, so they was able to put Wii games on there. DS was still pretty recent at the time. I think GameCube's it's a point in their time frame where they haven't quite managed the kinks out of how to get it on Switch Online without it being glitchy or not working quite right. I think that's literally the case, but I would much
the Dolphin emulator team are working for free in their own time with no or almost no documentation, with no resources, and even Dolphin isn't perfect. It's an incredible emulator, but it's still flawed. Yeah. So imagine trying to, instead of porting that to a computer with a team of dedicated people for God knows how many thousands of man hours, imagine Nintendo just, let's put it on a fucking phone with a Switch using our 3 interns that we reserved for like Game Boy Advance simulators, and it'll probably work out.
Our 3 intern contractors.
Yeah.
Who are going to let go at the end of the week.
Yeah. Whereas in contrast, Game Boy Advance is just a Mega Drive. It's just a fancy Mega Drive.
It'd definitely be a lot simpler to emulate. I mean, I'm more for remasters though. I'd much rather get a remaster, get it on the shelf than have it through a subscription service. So, but yeah, I think that pretty much. Wait.
One more. I do have one thing.
One more thing. What is it? What is it? AG Enuma? Tell us.
Well, you see, it's going to be really sad that this is going to be our only way to play Game Boy Advance games, without the original cartridges now, because what's happening in about 6-7 weeks' time?
What? Oh, the shutting down.
The shutting down the Wii U eShop.
Yeah.
So getting the expansion pack now is going to be the only way to play official re-releases of Game Boy Advance games, and that's kind of sad to me.
Well,
I hope they make the most of it. I hope they release a lot of the good games on there.
I'm still of the opinion.
Hashtag re-release Drill Dozer with Rumble Pack compatibility.
Come on, Nintendo, give us Mother 3.
I'm still of the opinion that I'd rather have it I'd rather own it than have it on a streaming service. But if people are able to get it, then it's whatever, really, isn't it? So we'll leave it there because SP has to go eat. So we'll be back next time with probably another Nintendo Direct or whatever thing we come up with. See you next time, guys. Goodbye.